They simply exist like furniture.
Ah, that's a good one. And welcome to the My Dream Movies podcast. I'm Ryan,
I'm Shane.
and today we're talking Backrooms, the new Kane Parsons movie that is getting a lot of attention, and we're real excited to talk about it.
Yeah, big hit. We're gonna talk all about it. We'll have a non-spoiler section to start the episode, and then we'll give plenty of warning before we get into our spoiler-filled discussion at the end of the episode. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, you can stick around and hear what we thought about the movie in general. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. This movie's a huge hit. So it's been yeah, big summer for horror, for A24, for directors who are only 20 years old, which is what everyone has to mention when they talk about Backrooms, which is anomalous, so it makes sense. But yeah, it'll be fun to talk about. Before we get into it, do we want to announce our movies for our next episode next week?
Let's do it. Yeah. So if you guys follow the show, you know that every one of our main episodes, we at the end we pick a new category to for Shane and I to each pick a movie from, and we jump in to our half episodes, usually not knowing what the other person picked, and we announce them now, so we have a week to watch them, and then next week we'll be talking about these two movies. Our category last week that we picked was kind of it was very broad. So there's a lot. Anything
Sort
could
of.
we could really pick anything here.
You mean for this upcoming episode?
Yeah,
Well, there's 250 options because it's the IMDb top 250. That's the category.
a lot of options.
It could be more broad. It could just be like sci-fi. Then you'd have potentially thousands of options, or it could be
Yeah,
like we did last week, Christopher Nolan, which is only like 12 options or something.
yeah. So I guess this is kind of oddly in the middle ground. I guess you have a pretty you have a limited section, but it's
Yeah,
it's a pretty
it
big
it
section.
was like also it's a bunch of mostly good to very great or incredible movies. So there are a lot of good options.
Yeah.
So kind of just had to pick whatever one I was feeling in the mood to rewatch. That's what I ended up going for. But do you want to go first? Should I go first?
Yeah, I can go first. So I took a different route here. So I found. I mean, here's the thing. I was interested in the fact that this is the IMDb 250, and there's a good amount of differences between the IMDb and Letterboxd 250 lists. I know obviously now Letterboxd is a 500 list, but either way, there's still a good amount of differences in rankings and even stuff that isn't on both of them. Um, and so I tried to look for the movie. I found a list on Letterboxd that had the movies that are on the IMDb 250 but not on the Letterboxd 250. And I tried to find the first one on that list that was not also on the top 500. So I don't, kind of an obscure reason to do this, but I wanted to pick something I hadn't seen.
Yeah.
And this turns out it's number 44, I think. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
44 on IMDb 250. So it's pretty high up there. And this is not on the Letterboxd 500. So that's why I was pretty like, wow, this is pretty high up on IMDb to not even be on the Letterboxd list. This is Leon the Professional.
Leon the Professional.
Leon the Professional.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Okay.
1994 by Luc Besson.
Yep.
Um,
Besson. Yep.
Besson. There we go.
Besson. Yeah, Luc Besson. Yeah. All right. All right.
Cool.
Cool.
Have you seen this one?
I have seen Leon the Professional back in the day. Weird movie. There's some weird context about the movie that I don't know if you know, but that's
I
okay.
I don't know. I don't know anything about it pretty much.
All right. Well, I think maybe I just don't mention it and then we just do the episode and we'll just see what happens. Uh, but yeah, all right, Leon the Professional. Yeah, it's I haven't seen it in a long time, so it'll be good to revisit it, I guess.
Nice.
But yeah, okay. I picked probably a less controversial movie.
Uh-oh.
I picked The Sixth Sense. So as usual, I Ryan went for a movie he hasn't seen. I went for a movie that I have seen. So there you go. That is pretty common what we end up picking. But yeah, there was like so many great options. Like Heat, I was thinking of picking Heat, but it's like it's kind of long. I don't know. And I just felt like I haven't seen Sixth Sense in a long time. I think it'll be interesting to revisit. So yeah, Sixth Sense. Oh gosh, the Sixth Sense, Sion the Professional, Leon the Professionixth Sense.
Uh,
So I think we this has to be addressed.
oh, I feel like I made a bad choice here. This is gonna.
No, so this is the thing about Leon the Professional is that it's directed by Luc Besson, and he like married a teenager when he was like in his 30s. And the movie is about Leon the Professional being like a hitman, and he's like his neighbor is like a 12-year-old girl played by Natalie Portman or something. And so there's it's not a in the movie there's no inappropriate
Mm.
pedophilia going on, but it's a little weird. You know what I'm
Uh,
saying?
I do know what you're saying. Yeah, that does sound a little weird.
That's the
The
context about
context,
Leon
right?
the Professional.
Right. Um. Well, cool.
If you
Okay.
want to
I'm.
Audible right now, you can. This will be a first ever. It could
I
be
think I.
fun, but I'm also down to rewatch it. That's fine.
I think I will not Audible because it sounds like I would never ever watch this movie given that context, other than if I'm going to do it right now. And I might as well just watch it. I don't know. Whatever.
Sure, let's do it. I'm down. I think I still have a Blu-ray because I think it is like it's number 44 on IMDb, top 250. So when I was like in high school watching movies and stuff, I was like, oh, let me watch this. And I remember it being all right, but not totally loving it.
Mm.
But I'm down to rewatch.
Yeah, it's so curious to me how it's like oh it's number 44 on the IMDb list and it's not even on the Letterboxd 500.
I
So that's
I
wow.
think Luc Besson's reputation has really sunk
Mm.
extremely low over time. And I think IMDb is a little, I don't know, Letterboxd is probably a little, there's probably more Woody Allen movies like highly rated on IMDb than on Letterboxd, I bet. You know what I mean?
That would make sense. Yeah, I
Like I
could
feel
see
like
that.
IMDb is a little bit older internet, maybe more separate the art from the artist type of a thing. And
Hmm.
Letterboxd is a little bit like, guy's kind of a creep, so I'm not gonna rate the movie highly type of a thing.
That makes sense. Yeah. All right. Well, there's the context for everyone. Hopefully you join us on these movies. You
Yeah.
don't have to
And
watch
if
them.
exactly if you don't want to watch it on the professional, you can just listen to us talk about it and then that could
Yeah.
be entertaining.
That's
All
I
right.
maybe I wish I could do that, but instead I'm going to take the bullet. I'm going to watch it and I'm going to talk about it right here on the show next week.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Leon the Professional. You know what? Also, I would probably not have a reason to rewatch it if you didn't pick it. So that it works out.
There we go.
All right. Time to get into Backrooms. Right?
Hell yeah.
All right.
Hell yeah. Um so Shane, when did you see Backrooms?
Oh, I saw it on, I believe, a maybe a Sunday afternoon. Packed house,
Mhm.
literally every single seat in the theater, front row in the corner, the worst seats in the house, human beings seated watching Backrooms. This thing, and it was a pretty good mix. There were a lot of teenagers there. There were some families, like families with maybe like younger, whatever, younger teenaged kids, And yeah, so I knew it was popular, at least in my theater, but seeing it kind of like I think it made as much or maybe more than Mandalorian and Grogu in its first
Yeah.
week, which is pretty insane.
Yeah. And so I saw it on Thursday of release. So the day before listed, I guess. I don't they do this all the time now. It's
Yeah, it's like
things actually come out Thursday. But
it's like
um
a midnight screening, but they just push it back, and it's like, but now you can go at like 2 p.m.
or
on
yeah, it's like
Thursday. It's like,
yeah. But anyway, so I got to see it day of release essentially and I went in not thinking, I booked the ticket a little early and so I wasn't
well,
it didn't look packed. I mean, it looked like pretty crowded for like an opening night thing. I've gone to um a good amount where there's just like nobody there, right? And so I kind of know the vibe of my theater, but then I go into my theater. It's like late-ish on a Thursday. This came out. Um,
Eh,
what else came out
You,
with this?
I'm not sure. This
Yeah.
was yeah, this was the main big
Yeah.
thing. But but you normally show up a little late to try to miss the trailers, right? You show up like 10, 15 minutes late.
Yeah, I go in like 25 minutes, dude.
Oh,
I go
wow.
in like trying to get there right.
Oh yeah.
I don't really care
AMC
for the
AMC they give you
trailers.
like 30 minutes of ads and stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It says right when you book a ticket, it's like you will have to wait 25 to 30 minutes. That's essentially what it says.
Mm.
Trailers run for 25 to 30 minutes. So I never, I don't ever try to risk it that close, but 20 to 25 minutes is usually what uh,
Yeah.
I want to be walking in there. And, um, and I didn't do that for this one. I did go in a little bit closer to the trailer time. Um, and it was already packed when I got in,
Nice.
and the whole theater filled in. And I'm leaving, and it's late. That I think they still had other showings that night. I might have left at like it might have been like a 7 o'clock showing. So whatever. I was leaving at like 10 or 10:30, and there was dude the whole entranceway to the theater at like 10 o'clock on a Thursday was still packed with people buying popcorn for the 10:30 showing or whatever. And that's it. It was insane. And then I was looking at the app to try to book tickets to see it again, or just to not even to see it again, but just to like look at seats for the weekend. Actually, this is because you had texted me and said that it was like selling out at your theater. So I looked on my app, and dude, it's like I couldn't. I mean, I could have gotten another ticket if I wanted to, but it would have been a bad ticket, and whatever. But um, pretty cool to see
Yeah.
this thing like selling out everywhere.
Yeah, the kids love it. The kids love Backrooms. We're old. We're both 20. Well, oh yeah, we're both 29 now.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're elders.
Mm-hmm.
We're elderly. And yeah, they love the Backrooms. I don't know anything about Backrooms. I've seen the one like first Kane Parsons like short film on YouTube where I don't even short whatever, just YouTube video. It's like 9 minutes or 10 minutes long or something. And I watched that maybe a month or two ago just because I knew this movie was coming out. And that's all I know about it. I don't know any of the lore. I don't know. I know that there's timelines and all this stuff, and I don't know any of that.
Yeah. All I know before, I've seen that short before. It's been a while. I think that short's from like 2020 or
Around there, yeah.
something like that. And I remember, I think I saw it. It made a little bit of buzz when it came out on YouTube, and so I watched it on YouTube. But I know a little bit more. Um, only that like it started as a 4chan thing, and I think 2019 there was like a 4chan post that was just like the iconic now image of like the beige wallpaper endless room thing. And
Which apparently is based on it's a photo from like 2003 from like Milwaukee,
yeah,
Wisconsin or something. Yeah.
yeah, like people actually found the place, which is insane. The finding the place based on that photo is insane. The internet is wild. Um,
Yeah.
but and somebody, I think the comment on the thing or whatever the post said like this is what happens when you no clip out of reality or something, right? And pretty weird, pretty I guess interesting. But then like I think Creepy Pasta spawned of that, and Kane Parsons did his stuff, made the short, made a series too, I think, but I haven't seen the series.
Yeah, it's like a series of YouTube videos basically, and I think they
Yeah,
jump around in the timeline and they explain more of the lore in each one, but it's not like like a linear story type of thing.
right. And then there's also a Backrooms wiki that has over 2,000 pages and
Wow.
over 40,000 images
Wow.
on that with um just tons and tons of stuff. I mean, I scrolled through a little bit after seeing the movie. I did not read a lot into this. It seems like though there is it's kind of like the SCP secure containment protocol stuff. It's like a internet community built fiction, which is really interesting. That on the internet, people all contribute to this thing, and it's kind of this big lore, this big work of fiction. And now, obviously, to make a movie, you have to canonize some of that or whatever. But it's a kind of a neat phenomenon that like the SCP files and Backrooms both have been built up by a huge array of people all contributing. So kudos to anyone out there, by the way, that like has contributed or something. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah, and interesting. I really don't know much about it, but it's cool. It's an interesting thing that I guess really can only happen on the internet with this kind of a thing. I guess maybe like it's like the internet, it's like the hyper uh like uh I don't even know what I'm trying to say. It's just the internet version of like cryptids and like folk tales
Yeah.
and urban legends and stuff like that probably, right? But it's a lot more like people can get into details and it's a little more formal is I guess what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, totally. I mean, like that's really like folklore is all uh driven by uh oral recitation of things, right? Like the act of carrying stories down by oral tradition is really what folklore is all about, right? And the internet equivalent to that is yeah, people commenting on forums and contributing on a forum with a new thing and stuff like that, and building up these massive worlds, right? Which is kind of the I guess the analog to folklore, right? A lot of folklore centers around like fairy tales or you know specific things, but then for the internet it's like yeah, what's the analog to that? These endless rooms or these endless possibilities of creatures in the SCP files, right? And so it is really like yeah, modern folklore, internet folklore.
Yeah, yeah, cool. And then now Kane Parsons has made the movie version. Very impressive. Just as a first time director, only 20 years old, like that was one thing I was very impressed by is just uh how assured the filmmaking is and like the way he maintains the tone. He has a lot of confidence in his like storytelling to where he doesn't feel the need to undercut any of the things that are going on. He's like we're able to sit and take our time and it's just very well made and very like assured in managing the tone and the pacing and everything. So I thought it was a very impressive to like for first time director making a feature length movie like this and I thought it was impressive.
I agree. And also with just the actual building of the place, right? And like the structures and the weirdness of it all and um it definitely feels like a it feels so lived in. This well, I don't know if lived in is really the right word considering what it is, but Backrooms that he builds here somehow does feel so
Yeah.
authentic and
Well,
real.
there's really no CGI, I assume, besides like the going through the wall, which I don't think that's a spoiler. That's how they enter the back rooms. They like go through a wall. That's really the only probably digital effect for the most part. Like a lot of it is most of it is practical as far as like the things that are in the back rooms. It's all practical sets, and I think that's very it's great. It's awesome.
Yeah. And it just goes into also that like kind of confidence in filmmaking, I think. Like you're not like, oh, maybe I have to edit something later, or maybe I should do this digital so I can have more freedom after the fact. It's like, no, just you know, he just knew what he wanted to make and was able to do that and didn't have to rely necessarily on being able to go back and edit things and stuff like that. I'm sure obviously there's a lot of editing involved, but you know what I mean? Like opting to do a digital effect so that you have the freedom to change it, you know, George
Yeah, and
Lucas.
and clearly he had a lot of support like around him. Like this is an
Yeah.
A24 movie. This is I think going to be the biggest A24 movie probably as far as box office goes. Uh and there's a lot of like I think producers include like James Wan, Osgood
Yeah.
Perkins, maybe Mark Duplass also is a producer and he's plays a role in the movie. And there's also he collaborated with a writer for writing the script. So there's a lot of it's not quite as like one man crew, you know what I mean? But I think that's part of directing is working with people and delegating and making your vision clear in collaboration with a lot of other people. So yeah, well, just awesome and great that A24 like kind of was recognized that this was a huge phenomenon with like basically like teenagers and kind of let him like they supported him, but they also kind of seemed to allow his vision for the most part. There's some stuff in there that's a little, I don't know. We'll get into the details
Yeah.
probably in the spoiler section, but I don't know. It's just very, it's just a good movie overall.
Yeah, and I totally agree that like it's great that A24 was able to recognize the potential here and let this get made, help make this as such a uh, a big phenomenon because it's kind of amazing to think that and I know like you said people have kind of beat this like a dead horse or whatever, but the fact that this is a 20-year-old um uh YouTube creator essentially, right? Who has gone on to now make a feature film that was picked up by a big production company and is making a shit ton of money. Like it's pretty insane. And so kudos to them for recognizing the potential here and going in on uh something that might seem risky to some people of investing in someone so young and stuff like that, right? But um so yeah,
Yeah.
really
And
great.
yeah, an interesting aspect of this movie too, as far like I don't know. So the one video that I've seen is a found footage style, which is also used in the movie. But I think it was a really smart choice to not do the whole movie in found footage. Like I really enjoyed the parts that were not in found footage, and then when they do use found footage for a few scenes, I think made it even more effective because it was used sparingly rather than for the entire movie.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is also like a a world where I think we benefit so much from learning more about the world, right? And
And the
that
characters.
right, and the characters outside of Backrooms, right? So like why like I guess you could have shown us like therapist tapes or something. Um but I feel like it would have felt gimmicky, right? Like I like found footage and I'm not sure if it would have all fit together well to show us all the things they were able to show us. And there's also moments that obviously that maybe we should talk about in the spoilers that would have been weird to show us at the times that they're revealed to us if you're doing found footage. But
Yeah, it would have just been way too limiting. And the movie has a lot of style,
yeah,
and that would have been completely just decimated if it was all found footage. So
yeah,
I that was a smart decision. Um, but yeah, it's interesting because a lot when you're not in the found footage, there's a lot of super wide angles, and I think that also makes it so then when you have the small, camcorder footage, this is set in San Jose in 1990, so it's the footage looks very like VHS, not very high quality, and the lens on the camcorder or whatever is clearly not. It's just it's small, so when you're turning around a corner, you never know what's around the corner, and it feels a little claustrophobic, and it just makes it more tense. So I think that was another smart choice with that contrast. And also in a way, once we do go into the back rooms, well, I guess we can say we see the back rooms not only in found footage, we see it
right.
in normal cinematography as well. And that kind of lets you see everything and kind of just experience the liminal space aspect, which is a big thing, a part of the appeal of Backrooms, I guess.
Yeah. And I guess so before getting into spoilers, we can also just mention that aspect of it, right? This is a huge thing, the whole liminal space. This is like the whole central horror conceit, I suppose, of this whole idea is these liminal spaces. And it's so interesting, to me, and I think part of, this spiraling to success in post-COVID with the 4chan posts in like 2019 or whatever. Um, Kane Parsons doing stuff on YouTube in the 2020s, and now this. But I think the that like fluorescent light, beige wallpaper, endless rooms thing. One, I think it has that sort of weird, eerie nostalgia aspect to it, right? But also, it does have this like very mundane aspect to it. And I think that really carries a lot of the horror here is so centered around um taking, for example, the main character in this, uh let's like he's just not super happy with his job and stuff, right? He's kind of living the
to say the
life,
least.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, but and so it's like that
His life is going down the tube.
and so that mundane that like I think that everything being so mundane and ordinary and all that stuff, I think the Backrooms offers kind of a horrific view to uh, getting away from all that, but also kind of the endless possibilities of all that and all this weird stuff. So it's kind of a like I think the liminal space horror is so interesting to me, partly because I think it's also just really hard to describe. And there's kind of an annoying quote in the movie about that,
Oh yeah,
but
right.
yeah,
Yeah. It's very surreal, with
yeah,
the way everything is designed and everything. I yeah, I found the movie I don't know that I found the movie super scary, but it was tense at times for sure. But I thought the writing of the characters was really great, and Chiwetel Ejiofor was fantastic.
yeah,
He plays Clark, and um I just thought the his performance was obviously he's an incredible actor, and so him doing this movie almost feels weird. Like, how'd you get Chiwetel Ejiofor to do this sort of weird first time horror movie with A24? It's like, but it's awesome that he did it, and maybe he just liked the character because it's a well written like character with depth, and that's something that a lot of horror movies don't have, and this movie has that. And it's a lot of it is very like character based, so I definitely was able to connect with that. And then I think the story does go in interesting directions. I feel like there's some version of this movie where it's kind of just we're wandering through the back rooms for 90 minutes, and it's not it's just a little bit like, oh, look at how creepy this is. But this movie does have an interesting story that goes in interesting directions, which obviously we'll talk about later. But yeah, and then Renata Reinsva plays Mary, who is Clark's therapist, and she's also very good in the movie. And yeah, that also elevates it. And I think the character of Clark is probably the biggest part of the movie that I was able to connect with and find interesting. And you know just yeah, I appreciated that part of the movie. That was probably my favorite part of the movie, to be honest.
yeah, definitely. I agree. And so I don't know if I have that much more to say before we just jump into spoilers. I feel like we get unless you have a lot more to say before then. Um, I feel like
um
yeah,
yeah, I don't know that I do, but yeah, Chiwetel Ejiofor was fantastic. There were a lot of nice shots of uh I don't know. It's just nice to have nice cinematography in
yeah,
contrast to found footage. I,
totally.
if anyone listens, I do not like found footage. Ryan loves found footage. I can't stand it. And this movie did it really well. And the contrast was there. And when you're in this like horrible, like fluorescent lighting, like corporate hellscape, liminal
Yeah,
space, and then you're able to see a bright blue sky. And I think they're intentionally also creating contrast with that of how insular and strange the backrooms feel as compared to just the sky, the outdoors, real life. So yeah, there's a lot of really smart filmmaking decisions, storytelling decisions. Everything is it was a very well made movie.
yeah. I have to say too, it's definitely not a movie that you have to be into Backrooms lore, right? Like you're not very into it. I'm not either. I don't know very much about it. But but it really does just throw you in and you get to experience it as the character Clark is starting to learn about it and stuff too. So
Yeah.
obviously, you don't need any background on any of this stuff. I think it's actually interesting that the Backrooms short on YouTube has probably tripled or quadrupled or something in views since this thing has been announced, at least. Would be my guess. I haven't looked at the numbers at all, but like,
Hmm.
so it's cool that maybe this will even draw more people into Backrooms. I don't know.
Probably, yeah. I mean, when I was in the theater, there was a family right next to me, and there was a kid who was probably like 13 or something, and his dad was next to him. And then at the end of the movie, the dad was kind of like, "Well, what was that?" And the kid was like, "I'll explain it to you later." And then so I'm like, "Yeah." So I'm definitely more with the dad, where I'm like, I, and I think, but my probably biggest problem with the movie is that at the end, I think it kind of just doesn't pick a direction, and where either you could explain quite a lot or you could just not explain anything at all. And they kind of went in the middle where they explained some things, but it wasn't quite enough or it was too much. Like I feel like they could have went one way or the other and they kind of just went the middle road. So I was slightly unsatisfied by the ending of the movie. But it still didn't ruin the movie or anything like that. But that was probably for me the weakest part. But I could definitely see them making a sequel to this or something and expanding on it. I think that would I'd be shocked. I'd honestly be shocked if they didn't.
Yeah. I I'll say just my thoughts on the ending real quick without spoiling anything too is I was baffled when it ended. I like when it ended, when I realized the movie was over, it took me a minute to realize that the movie was actually over. I was like, I was waiting for something maybe or something. Like, I don't know. So I think I was also maybe a little unsatisfied with the ending. I think sitting on it, I've really grown to like that. I think it goes along also with just like the general restraint that Kane Parsons was able to show throughout the filmmaking. But um, but with that being said, I think leaving the I was like I like stayed in the seat for a little bit longer than usual. Just like what? So I can see. I think for anyone going in, about to go into it, yeah, the ending it might throw you for a loop a little bit, or you might just not like it very much. The ending, but I think the movie itself earns a lot of credit leading up to that. Still,
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, there are some great sequences too, which we'll get into in spoilers, I think.
yeah,
But should we just give our ratings and before we get into our spoiler discussion?
let's do it.
I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. Very good movie. Yeah, it's cool. Uh, I liked it. 3.5.
Nice. Awesome. This is one of Shane's higher rated movies that we could put in a found footage bucket if we wanted
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
to.
Yeah. This and Wreck are
Yeah.
the as far as the horror, the found footage horror. I don't know that this really counts, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
majority
It's
not found
adjacent.
footage.
Right.
Yeah.
Um well, I gave this 4 stars. Also really liked it. Don't really know how I feel about the ending still, but otherwise I thought there was a lot of great stuff going on. Um and really well made as we've already mentioned some of the great skilled filmmaking aspects that went into it. But and I can give the quick rating recap so that anyone that hasn't seen it yet, you might have an idea of the general consensus. Letterbox has this at 3.4 right now out of 5. Rotten Tomatoes critics score has it at 89%. Audience score has it at 74%. And IMDb has it at a 7.1 out of 10. Brings it to an average of 7.55 out of 10. So uh, it's clearly getting pretty good reviews. It's also definitely going to be in theaters, I think, for a little bit longer, which is awesome. So I would certainly recommend seeing it. I think even if you have no idea about the Backrooms, it's also not. I would also agree with Shane. It's not particularly scary. I think there's some creepy moments and some kind of definitely horror stuff that goes on. But I think even if you don't love scary movies, this could still be an interesting watch.
Yeah, yeah, and there's a lot of uncanny and a lot of creepy and tense and strange, but there's not a lot of I mean, there are definitely some things that people will find disturbing, and there's a couple jumps here and there. But there's not, it doesn't rely on jump scares, which I really liked. And yeah, I don't believe there's really too much gore in the movie. So if those are sticking points for anyone, you don't really have to worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because I would say that there's some body horror in this, but I would not say that I don't know if there's any gore actually. There might be some, but definitely not a lot.
Yeah, no, not really. But it's just sort of the uncanny elements of the back rooms, basically. But yeah, cool. I guess we should get into our spoiler discussion. I think this one definitely requires it. There's a lot
Yeah,
to talk about.
same.
So yeah, if you haven't seen the movie, get out, check it out. It's good. We liked it. And now you've been spoiler warned. If you get it spoiled from here on out, it's only your own fault.
Yeah. So
What was
dude,
that, man?
that was insane. The so I think the first shock that really happened to me
Hmm.
was certainly the fact that Clark like stayed there. And
Hmm.
that's when uh that's when the therapist goes in and tries to find him. And like from there on, I think is really where the spoilers lie for me.
Hmm.
Um,
So not even the first time he goes in, but the fact that he just
I mean,
well,
I guess the first time he went in, I kind of expected it to be pretty weird. I guess the thing I did, yeah. So towards the end of that, though, when he brings in the coworkers,
right, those are two separate trips.
yeah,
I mean, the first time, I mean, Clark is clearly in a horrible spot in his life. He's getting divorced. He has no money. His company's going down the shitter. Uh,
he's
he's doing these terrible Pirate Clark commercials, which obviously comes back into to play later. But he goes in like if I went through the wall like that, I wouldn't even go 100%
yeah,
in the room. Like
right,
I wouldn't. I'd leave like an arm through or something. And I'd be like, "What is this?" And then I'd leave and
yeah,
I'd like find like a priest or something. And I'd be like, "What is this?" Something like that. Call the police, call the FBI. Probably don't do that. I wouldn't do that. But
don't do that.
yeah, that
But
would be bad. That's like a good way to get yourself put in like a testing facility or something.
yeah, somewhere like the Backrooms, maybe. But
Yeah, but
um,
find someone kind of like he does. He goes to his uh employees, which are his only friends. Yeah, and
friends,
well, yeah, the only people in his life really. He doesn't have any
yeah,
other acquaintances or relationships with anyone besides his therapist and his employees, basically. Um, but I did love how they spent a lot of time building his character and making us actually care about him, and I appreciated that of the movie. But yeah, the first time he goes in, like he goes really deep in there, and he's like,
yeah,
if it was a door, I wouldn't be that shocked. But the fact that you are phasing through a wall is like that would be my sign to not do that, not go there.
yeah. I also agree that I do love how much time they spend, really, even before we get the Backrooms at all, with building his
Yeah.
character, building his relationship with life and his coworkers and all that. He's
And
also
it
like it shows him like sleeping on the furniture that he's selling and like drinking himself to sleep, and like it's a pretty sad fucking life. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And yeah, but we start with the found footage, like cold open. So we see the
right.
back rooms right at the beginning, and then we have that longer stretch of basically character development, and that's the first act of everything.
Yeah,
And I think it was probably smart to show the back rooms because if you just have like 30 minutes of no back rooms, that's probably going to turn off some people. So I think it made sense to give that cold open, and then now we know things are gonna go wrong. This is
yeah,
gonna be creepy and horror-y. So yeah. Uh but yeah, then he brings the employees in. And that was extremely creepy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, totally. And I thought it was also just creepy seeing how much of it he's already explored, how much he's mapped. He's kind of
Mm.
gone a little nuts, but
Oh yeah.
to him, like this is the most, and I can see why this would be the most exciting fucking thing in your life. You have nothing else going on, right? Um, like yeah, the back rooms to him feels like he's doing something, right?
Yeah. And they intelligently, but also maybe a little on the nose. He's an architect, and, Mary is a therapist. And, this is a lot of architecture and, people's internal traumas and stuff like that are key elements to the story and everything. So pretty smart that he's an architect, and then he's, you know, drawing the layout and trying to figure out what's going on with this. Um, and yeah, I mean, it does make sense to some degree of like, eventually you're going to want to figure out what this is and try to map it out and see what's going on. Um, but yeah,
Yeah, but I totally agree. Also, yeah, if I slipped into the back rooms, I would immediately try to get out. I would not. I would not go into the room.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I agree. I don't know if that's also me being like, I know that this is a horror movie, so like get out of there kind of a thing. But yeah, I agree. I don't think I'd really go in. There's also the element of like once you're in, you can't see the exit. So that
yeah,
makes it extra creepy because you're like, I don't know if I go in if I'm gonna be able to get out. So that's
yeah.
why I'm like, I don't even think I would mess with that. Maybe you could. Hmm. Maybe you could throw like get like a fishing line and like fish in and pull stuff out and like make sure that the
Mm-mm.
doorway stays open. I think it would
Well,
just be a little bit of a more drawn out process, but they probably just wanted to pare it down for
yeah.
the sake of the movie.
Well, I had thought also, since this is a new movie, I will say I had seen the trailers for it, or a trailer for it. I don't know how many, but and there's a moment in the trailer where they're tying a rope to someone, and I assumed that that was going to be like essentially the first time they go into the back rooms for real, right? Like whatever, they're going to be like tying rope. They're going to be like spelunking.
Hmm.
They don't want to. They don't want to be exiting the boundary at all, right?
Right.
And so I was surprised that, yeah, he went in so much on his own. I sort of had this idea in my head from the trailer that we were going to see, he found out about the thing, but then he wasn't going to go in again until he had people and they were going to, go in and investigate together. So it was really interesting that he had already investigated so much of this place. Yeah, I think that really
Yeah.
shocked me.
Yeah, I guess that I didn't find it shocking, but I see what you're saying. And then yeah, the employees get that scene was extremely creepy. And really it's that entire sequence because that goes straight into oh,
Yeah, well, it goes into
yeah,
he's
yeah.
running away from,
The red light and all that,
yeah,
which the theater was a little bit rowdy. I didn't mind for whatever reason. I was just like, this is like their thing. It's like a teenager thing. So like there were a lot of people in the theater that were like talking to their friend, like not whispering as quietly as they should, type of a thing. And then once the light turned red, it was like Han Solo showed up in a Star Wars movie or something. The people were like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" Like as soon as it turned red. So I don't know if that must have some significance in the Backrooms
interesting.
lore of like when it gets red, then like shit's about to go down.
That's interesting. Is that when that's in the creepy Christmas tree room or no?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay. Yeah. I don't know if my theater reacted so strongly to that room, but I could see that. My theater, I wouldn't say from looking around, it didn't seem like it was maybe as young as your theater. I mean, it definitely had a good amount of like Gen Z or whatever, but
school night.
school night. Yeah, yeah,
Right.
that's
We went
right.
to a later showing. I was in the afternoon.
Yeah, that's totally true. So it's possible that my theater maybe just didn't even like we were all just like, oh, that's spooky. But like nobody was like, whoa, they're doing the thing. So yeah, but that's cool. But yeah, that and then that moment, like he finds whatever is going like,
Yeah, the what I don't know, the girl and the guy, whatever, the guy with the camera. He goes
yeah,
down there and there's the person in the like stack the pile of clothes. Just like
yeah.
that was very creepy. And that never gets explained or anything, but it was
Well, no,
just
that was the broken uh remember the caveman stand?
No.
There's like
Caveman
the
stand.
caveman stand with the recorder in it that was speaking in like, different languages.
Oh, yes.
In the pile of clothes, it looked at from it like looked like a person for a little bit, but then as he got a little bit closer, it at least I thought it was the broken up stand. I thought there was like a couple pieces of it there.
Oh, okay. I
It
just thought it was a person the
mm,
in the clothes. But this is the found footage
yeah,
segment, so it's kind of unclear.
yeah. I think it was supposed to look like you were supposed to think it was a person for a while,
Hmm.
but then I think it was I could be wrong, but I think it was that caveman person thing. So I think that's
Gotcha.
why it doesn't get explained. I think it's supposed to be
Hmm.
um kind of just a spook.
Yeah. And then this is like presumably they're getting killed by this. In the first short YouTube video that I've seen, there's that sort of black, long, almost, yeah, what it's sort of a creepy monster with uh, long tendrils, perhaps. It almost looks like an alien or some
Yeah.
demon or something. That we don't actually see it in the movie,
Yeah.
but that's what I assume just because that's all I know. But maybe there's other creatures in there. I don't know.
Yeah. And I think whatever kills the guy in the cold open, I think we're supposed to think that it's the same thing that's hunting them down in this other found footage segment. That was what I assumed at least.
Hmm.
They both used the found footage. They both kind of never show you the hand there and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
um
In the
yeah,
cold open, do we see the monster?
I don't know.
I
I,
feel like we don't.
I don't think we do. So
Yeah.
that's so in my head though, I just assumed that it was
Right.
like the same. But also at that point, you don't really realize that there's anything else living there, right?
Yeah.
And then uh Clark is in that dark red room and you just see that lady kind of scurry around and then the guy in the wheelchair flicks on the light and it cuts.
Yeah.
Dude, that was like that got me.
That the yeah, yeah, yeah. Wait, are we talking about when Chiwetel Ejiofor is looking for the girl and someone picks up the camera?
No,
Wait,
no, no, no. I wasn't
is
talking
that was
about
that a
that.
separate was that all in one those are two separate segments, right?
Um
No, it was all one thing.
I think it's all one thing, but this is
Yeah.
at the very end of that segment,
Yeah.
right before it cuts back to work, well, to the therapist. But
Yeah.
and he gets into that Christmas tree room,
Right.
and I think at this point he's pretty much just running. Like I think that the other
Yeah.
people are dead.
Yeah.
Um, and he's in that room, and or maybe he thinks that he sees the girl that he went with, that he brought with him, or something. But there's
You
someone
can't
in the
really. Yes, and I think it's then we see him later, the guy in the wheelchair with the light, right? Yeah,
yeah, and the
that is,
girl with the contorted face.
yes,
Is
the faces and everything kind of made me think of AI images,
yeah.
and that was kind of the connection I was making of like, oh, that looks like AI messed up on what is going on. Um, so yeah, very, very of its time. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like this is a very like 2026 movie.
I totally agree. That's also the first thing I thought of with those faces, particularly like with the guy had the three layers of eyes and
Yeah.
stuff, and the guy's collar was like over here on his shirt. It was like just near his like
Mm.
chest, where his chest pocket would be instead of
Yeah.
being on his neck. And but it was like had the neck shape, but it was just not near his neck. And that was
And
I was like that. An AI definitely could have made that.
right. But it's all practical effects, which is impressive, but it has that vibe.
Right. Yeah, it is very clearly obviously not made by AI here, but it
Oh yeah.
does yeah, it has that and that's what it's going for, I think, and it
Yeah.
works.
Oh yeah, definitely. Very creepy. And yeah, that whole sequence with the Christmas tree is very creepy.
Yeah, very
And
tense.
probably the most like well, I guess toward the end as well, but they're those most thrilling part of the movie, and people getting chased and they're running around. Um, so yeah, that was very effective. And the end of that sequence with Chiwetel Ejiofor sort of looking for the girl, and then something coming up behind him and picking up the the
Yeah.
the camera. I thought that was like a pretty genius. I don't know if that's been done before in found footage, um, but I thought that was just a very smart way of just telling us what's going on without us actually seeing it. And then
Mhm.
just how creepy that is of just, oh, now we know someone has picked it up, someone's behind him. Like just a very smart storytelling there.
Yeah. Also, that was just really weird how she saw a window there and he couldn't see through it. So she saw whatever was picking it up and stuff like that too. A very cool way to tell that story. And somehow it feels uncanny and weird, but also somehow believable in this world where the doorway doesn't look like a door, right? Like,
Yeah.
sure, you know?
And it's like, yeah, it could be a wall and then see through whatever, glass on the other side. And we don't even know really if that's her actual voice. It could be something impersonating her or whatever. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was very effective. And then, yeah, I love this aspect of the movie where we have this perspective shift where really Clark has been the protagonist of the movie for that first maybe 30 to 45 minutes. And then once that something picks up the camera and we cut, we're with Renata Reinsva, who plays Mary. And really, she's the protagonist for the rest of the movie. And I thought that was just a very smart way to just keep me interested in what was going on. And instead of having it just feel a little bit one note.
Same. I totally agree. And also, it gives room for this big reveal once she enters the back rooms. So it's also interesting. He had called her and left a kind of ominous message. I don't remember what it was, but
Well, he does try to tell her about he tries to show her his drawing and everything too. So, and she thinks he's drunk or having a manic episode or something.
yeah. And I think he says something like, I'm not coming back on the phone when he leaves a message or something like that.
Mm.
Or yeah, something like that. And so she goes looking for him and she sees the doorway that he's taped on, which has kind of become an iconic image at this point, which is cool. Um, the blue tape doorway, and she enters into the back rooms, starts looking for him, um, finds this like mural page, not sorry, mural wall, painted wall, and and we get kind of a really, I would say, a pretty creepy moment where she hears something behind her, turns around, but doesn't really see anything. I think when the camera first turns, you kind of barely see something just peeking out of the corner and then popping in, like right as you look at it. And I think we hear it like, does it whisper or laugh or something? And then she says Clark. And then in this kind of weird, echoey, like it might be at a really far distance way, the voice Clark replies back something. And it's like this really intense, this really tense and kind of, I thought a very scary, not like horrifying, but like scary scene of feeling very claustrophobic because now you're backed against this mural wall and this get
Something's there. You don't know what it is. Yeah.
yeah. So that was, I thought, a very good, very effective scene too. And the mural was kind of creepy. I don't remember exactly what was on it, but it was also creepy. So like if I walked up to that thing and turned around, I would already be, and also you're in the back room, so you're probably already pretty fucking scared, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, there's some, I don't know when the dog line happens. The
Yeah.
line about the dog, oh, it's like telling someone who's never seen a dog to draw a dog and all that. Like,
That might have been
kind
at the
of,
dinner table,
yeah, I don't remember.
would be
And
my
it comes
guess.
back at the end. A little bit of contrived writing thing. And then also Mary having I like the way that they showed these flashbacks to her childhood.
Yeah.
Um, but her having the concrete like handprint from her driveway, like as soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh well, she's gonna beat someone in the head with that at the end of the movie. Like that's the most obvious thing you could ever. It's just a hunk of concrete. Why like, and she's carrying it around. I don't know. It's very contrived, kind of. But whatever. Little nitpicks with the movie.
Well, I agree on the concrete thing too. I did think the concrete felt so odd to me because she carried it around as if it was this small little thing. Like she had it everywhere she went.
Yeah,
To me, it's like
exactly.
it would have made
That
more
would be in
sense.
like a box in the attic.
Right. Like, dude, like somewhere we have not the like we have a paw print of like a dog, right? But I don't bring that with me to work and put it on my desk and then bring that to
Yeah,
bed and put it next to my bed and then bring that to, whatever. Like
yeah,
why would you, right? It's like the size of a fucking paw print.
yeah.
Um but
And,
like if it was like a locket or something, I kept wondering why it wouldn't be something much smaller that we still connected back to it, right? They could have still connected, like she picks up a piece of the thing and it's made into a locket or something. And so obviously you realize why it's this big hunk of thing, but
yeah,
but yeah, it's like why yeah, it just felt so out of place. But
yeah, absolutely. And it definitely felt like very, yeah, it has a symbolic meaning, and so she needs to use it at the end and
yeah.
whatever. Um, yeah, the ending. We'll get to the ending, I guess. I don't know. Is there that much more to talk about besides like the ending
I mean, I think there is the dinner scene, although we already did pretty much talk about it. I think
with
the
Mark Duplass and his family? Oh,
no, oh, I guess I mean that was a
oh,
quick
oh, oh, the dinner scene in the Backrooms. Yeah, yeah.
yes, when he's like feeding her the people things that are down there.
Yes.
Dude, that I mean that's really what I was thinking of when I said the body horror, right? And
Yes. Yeah.
that was so
It's more surreal than
yeah,
body horror.
right. And there's really no gore. It's not like they're bleeding or anything like that.
No,
But
they're like made of like these like chunks of rice or something.
yeah,
Like foam almost.
yeah. And I gotta say, this was like, I don't think this was quite as effective as um Texas Chainsaw, but like this is up there on like dinner scenes in horror movies, I mean, I
I
can't
also thought of Texas Chainsaw Massacre as but yeah, that's definitely dinner scenes are kind of a common horror movie
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, but this felt like a very strong one for sure, and I don't think it's quite as good as Texas Chainsaw, but I think actually probably most of them are probably paying some sort of an homage back to Texas Chainsaw at this point. But
Yeah, definitely.
um,
But yeah, definitely seeing his madness is pretty effective, how he's completely lost his mind. It's pretty unclear like to what degree is it like if you stay in the back rooms, you will become crazy? Or is it just that he's become I mean it's really like he wants to stay in the back rooms because he doesn't want to accept any personal responsibility for his life. He doesn't want to change. He doesn't want to do
yeah,
any of that. So he just wants to wallow in his misery and he doesn't have to confront real life if he stays in the back rooms. And I think there's a lot of that with people with the themes of people having to confront, you know, whether it be things about themselves, trauma they've been through, whatever. Like you need to confront it in order to change and move on. But otherwise, you could take the other route, which is just wallow in the misery of it all and not change, and then you're gonna basically be stuck in hell and end up like Clark. So
yeah,
so don't do that. It's.
totally. Yeah, I feel like I mean, if I had to guess, like I kind of got the impression that this was just Clark, right? Like this was what happens when Clark fully just decides, fuck the world, I'm staying here. And now this is all that he's been around, right? I
Yeah.
also got the impression that like time was different in the back rooms, maybe. Like it felt like he had been down there for a long time. Um,
Yeah, it's
but
unclear. Like there, when she gets to the store, there's like a bunch of mail, but I don't know. It could have
yeah,
been like a week. It could have been more. I don't know.
that's true. I had forgotten about the time in the real world, I should say.
Yeah, it seems like it's been at least like it's got to have been at least a
Like a month or
week or
something.
two,
Yeah.
potentially a month. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe that's the thing, right? Like and obviously there's no sense of day and night there, right? I
Right.
mean, um so I guess yeah, by saying that, yeah, time does definitely move differently somehow. But so I got the impression, yeah, that it was just this guy's character, right, was just so unwilling to move forward and this is what he would become, right? Um
Yeah.
but and then so the end of the dinner scene, we get our look at I wonder what he is in the credits. Hold on.
The the monster version
Yeah,
of
Pirate
yeah,
Clark.
Pirate Clark. Yeah,
That's
played
funny.
by Robert Borowski, I think, who's like 7'7", and I remember seeing clips of him playing basketball back in the day, and then he was also the uh like the monster toward the end of Alien Romulus.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've seen 100% of his filmography, which is just
Yeah.
those two movies. But yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, that is an awesome element of the movie.
Yeah, this was sick. And this was, I think Mary's equivalent to uh Clark's running away scene and what culminated in, the found footage scene that culminated in the Christmas tree scene or whatever. But Mary's equivalent is her having to fight against this massive, get away from and fight from this massive uh towering version of Clark that is uh a weird version of the pirate Clark from the commercial, right? So
Yes. Yeah, which that was probably the funniest scene in the movie of him trying to record the ad at the beginning. And then them bringing it back like that was cool. And the practical costume was very, again, kind of that uncanny uh feeling, you know.
yeah,
So yeah, I thought it was very well done. Um
and you get this, and actually at the end of the dinner scene, um, pirate Clark takes a bite out of Clark, and
yeah, he bites his neck.
I think it's supposed to be an homage to that famous painting of
Mm.
the I think it's like,
Saturn eat devouring Mars or something.
yeah,
Mars
devouring
devouring
his
his
son.
son.
Yeah, Saturn
Saturn.
devouring his son, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and I thought that was a really clever homage to that painting. That happens a lot in movies, obviously, where they pay some respect to some older form of art or whatever, but or older art. And here it's like, because of they are one of the same, right? They're from the same person, I guess. Like Pirate Clark is like the Backrooms version of Clark. So it's kind of cool analog to the
Yeah.
father eating the son or the god eating the son type thing.
Yeah, and the yeah, it comes from him, and it's I guess that's his copy, and we kind of
Yeah.
it's kind of unclear what is going on with the backrooms. People say the backroom, I've heard people say that the backrooms are made of people's memories
I think they kind of say that a little bit in the
in the
movie.
movie. Okay. So, but when you enter, it's the exact same for everyone. When you go through that door, there's an objective reality of the backrooms.
Well, the one that he went into, though, like the one that we see, the backrooms we see, starts in this area that's all about furniture, right?
Mhm.
And
But
so,
but I'm saying four different people go in that door, and it's the exact same for all four of them.
yes. And so I don't know if the backrooms itself is um like I kind of envision it, I guess, more as like there is this backrooms layer under our world or whatever, or within or beyond or intertwined, or I don't know, however you describe it. But so like your house has like a mirror backroom house thing to it.
Well, then that doesn't make any sense to me because how are we laying this out? This is like the problem my problem with Us
Yeah,
of
right.
it doesn't make any
Right.
sense. You can't just have everything a flipped version underground underneath everything. That just is ridiculous.
Well, I think, yeah, that's the whole
But
in this, I would say, not forget about Us, but yeah, in this, the construction of the backrooms makes no sense, right? Like the the
but I
walls build into each other, and you have to go through weird compartments to end up above where you were and stuff like that.
right. I was thinking of it as almost like when someone enters the back rooms, it's like somewhere in the back rooms, which is vast and maybe more things are created. It maybe takes that person's memories and copies it in some distorted version somewhere because we kind of
Right.
see yeah so there is like an objective reality to the back rooms. It's just that it's this messed up version of uh people's memories of places they've been or themselves, like that's what the copies are.
Yeah, I don't know if there's an objective reality. At one point, he says something like
I,
things change, right? Like things have been changing since he come when he comes in or something.
well, right, but
Um,
he could leave and then something could change. I don't know how. I don't know how it works. I
mm,
don't know, but but it's not like one person goes in and you're seeing like
no,
four
right,
people go in
right.
and they see the same thing. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, I agree.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
It's
and
just
and at one
mysterious.
point,
We don't know how it works, how things are changing, or how it operates. Yeah.
right, and at one point, like just thinking about the anatomy and construction of the place. At one point, we see when she's running away from Pirate Clark, Mary. We get to see her ascending these stairs, and there's this big cutaway of what seems like kind of reminds me of like those images of Kowloon City or whatever, right? It's like a dense skyscraper type image that goes down for what you could presume is forever or whatever. But along that whole perimeter, you see so many of these different rooms. They almost look like dollhouse rooms, and those all have where the hell do those go, right? And they all have
Yeah.
different types of furniture and different things going on in them. And so the one that they all enter in through is the one that's associated with Ottoman Clark's place, right? Like, so I don't know. I assumed that like there could be these doors kind of anywhere, and it doesn't necessarily like it's not like a flip, like here's the earth, here's right under it is the back rooms, but like when you go through this portal, you enter the back rooms in a place that's associated with it, right? Not that necessarily you can get from there, that you go from there across the street and you're at your neighbor's house in back rooms, right? But like they might also have a place. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting, but it's some sort of dimension. I don't know. I don't know if it's you could interpret it a lot of different ways. Of if people are like simulation theory type people, they could kind of this is like a glitch in the matrix. I feel like that's got to be a big
Yeah, I'm
thing
sure. I mean, no
with
clipping out
people
of
interpret.
reality, right? No clipping
Yeah, like
itself is kind of simulation talk or like
oh
it's a
yeah, a
video game
video game
logic,
being
right?
yeah, exactly. So that's got to be a thing, or seeing it as sort of a different dimension, or maybe it's hell. Maybe that's what the back rooms are. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's interesting too, the idea of like um what is the back rooms, right? Even
So,
the idea, yeah,
no, go.
even the
I'm
idea of like no clipping implies like in video games, how do you no clip? Well, you mod or you like cheat or something, right? Like either that or there's a glitch or there's something
yeah,
that. But so how like what is the backrooms? Is it like this hellish escape, this like purgatory type thing that that is like because of something you've done? Is it like why is it that there's a backrooms opening under Ottoman Clark's but not under fucking Pizza Joe's down the street?
yeah,
Or is there, right?
yeah, yeah. We don't know, and this is where we're getting into the ending of we're seeing Mark Duplass. He's with his family, and then at some point they go into the back rooms in these hazmat suits and they basically save Mary. And like, do they? All right. At the end of the movie, are they still in the back rooms, or do they take her out of the
They
back
took
rooms?
her, I think, I think they took her out.
Right.
Although I wasn't sure at first. But then the very last shot shows the backrooms version of that room, and backrooms Mary is there,
Right.
but not backwards Mark Duplass.
Well, yeah, he's not there at the top. I don't know. Is it the same room? I think it's just in the back rooms. I don't know if it's the
But it was like
same.
kind of shaped the same, and it had those interrogation glass windows or something. I
Oh,
thought.
okay. All
I
right.
could be honestly,
No,
all the
you could.
backrooms rooms look the same. I don't know.
Yeah, you could be right. I didn't put together the room. I just knew that it was the backrooms version of her. It's that she's been copied in the backrooms or whatever.
Yeah, I
But
think she was like even sitting on a chair, and I think the room was supposed to look like the backrooms version of that room she
yeah,
was in.
and
So yeah, to me that meant like what they were talking up in their place, and whatever, and somehow there was this backrooms version of that getting created. I don't know if it's because
yeah,
maybe it's because they were recording the thing, right? Maybe it has to do with like video, right? I mean, that's how Ottoman Clarks ends up in the thing, maybe, right? From the commercial.
It's called Clark's Ottoman Empire, just so you know. It's an
Shane's
Ottoman
tired of me saying this wrong.
Ottoman Clark's. That's not a reference to an old empire from centuries ago, but
Yeah,
Clark's Ottoman Empire is.
that's true. That's true.
So anyway,
Yeah. So,
but like,
but
so,
so,
but
yeah, I don't
we
know.
also see throughout that there are cameras in the back rooms, which I presume they put there.
Yes, but they also show there's like one moment when they show the back. Actually, I think they show Mary's like house from when she was a kid, and it like slowly it showed like it
Yep.
went through the floor and it was like backroomsy, and then it went through the floor and it was more
More.
backroomsy
Yeah.
and more, and eventually it was just nothing. And so, can cameras? I don't know. I'm just like, do cameras
Mm,
make the backrooms, and if so, do cameras in the backrooms make more backrooms?
I don't think so.
Do just memories make backrooms? Because then is it Mark Duplass's memory that makes the version of her in the backrooms at the end?
I'm
Because it
gonna be
wouldn't.
honest, I have no idea how it works. This is what I'm wondering is what are these people?
Yeah.
And like once this is introduced, like I think either you need to not get into that and
Hmm.
or you need to like give me a little bit more. Like what are these people? What are they doing? They're studying it. Are they actually? Are they in charge of it? Are they did they create the backrooms? Is the
Right.
backrooms a government creation that's gotten out of control? Is it something that they've discovered? Like I don't know. And I could see them exploring that in sequels, maybe, who knows? Or maybe
Yeah.
they just don't want to fully explain that. But like once we get to there, I'm kind of like, we
Hmm.
gotta, I don't know. I just needed more or less.
I can see what you're saying, and I think I maybe felt a little bit of that at the very end. Like I was saying, I kind of felt a little unsatisfied at the end. But to me, I also just really liked the ending of now I'm like, what the fuck? Like I just have no idea. And to me, I'm kind of okay with that. Like after like I think right away in the moment, I was both partly I was like, what the fuck? But also part of me at the end was like, I was just expecting there to be more because I thought it was actually just so well paced that I didn't realize it was the end of the movie. Um, and so I was just legitimately struck by like, wait, can that really be the end? Because I feel like we just got started. Like,
Right.
but also, yeah, I was a little dissatisfied at the end and from not really understanding really anything about it. But
Yeah.
also, I think I'm okay with that for me, right? Like I think I didn't really mind too much leaving it where it was, but I can see that being an unsatisfying ending.
Yeah. I just think once they introduce those guys in the hazmat suits, it's like you I think there could have been more
Yeah.
just to get into it a little bit of what because also it's like the scene is kind of interesting because you don't know who to trust him or not. It's like, are they gonna
Yeah.
kill her? Are they gonna? And then we don't really find out like what happens to her at all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that it is a little bit unsatisfactory of like, do they let her go? Do they kill her? Are they? Is she a prisoner now? Are they? What's happening?
Yeah. Yeah. The
So,
movie
oh,
really starts with a lot of questions and it ends you with a lot of questions. Maybe
yeah.
more. Actually, definitely more. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And that's why I could imagine there's got to be a sequel. I'd be shocked if there wasn't a sequel.
Oh yeah.
Um
Oh,
yeah.
and especially with how much money this is making, especially compared to its budget, a really small budget, making a shit ton of money. Um, just like, by the way, just I know everyone's doing the whole obsession and backrooms thing, and the two of them, I mean, it is really impressive just the amount of money they're able to make for such low budgets and make huge commercial successes for such low money. And this is like really what people want to do with horror so often, right? It's like people often will make just low budget horror movies hoping to blow it big and, paranormal activity and stuff, right? Like paranormal activity obviously for a while held the record for like the highest return on investment because it was made on such low money and just blew up, right? And that seems to be kind of what happened with Obsession and maybe Backrooms too, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, definitely cool. If anyone wants to hear us talk about Obsession, we talked about it 2 weeks ago. You can go find our episode. We had some disagreements on it.
Yeah, we're not talking at all about it right now. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
we're
Backrooms is better than Obsession to be.
Very different movies. Very different movies.
Very different, very different. But yeah, anyway. Uh
Yeah, watch that episode. Don't get us started.
I'm the
Uh,
resident obsession hater on the
yeah.
podcast. But yeah, I also did see one take. It's only one person that said this, but I wanted to bring it up of the imagery at the end of a white woman running away from a giant scary black guy coming across as racist. And I see that, but I don't think I agree. I think the movie's pretty in not even intentionally, but I think it's just pretty like it's not about race at all. And I don't know that it's productive for any time a black actor and black character is in a movie that it must be about race. Like there should be roles for anyone, and it shouldn't be like you can't play the villain because you're black and then that's going to be racist if you're and he's not even really a villain. He's really like the protagonist who kind of goes down this dark road. It's more complicated than that. Like the Backrooms are the antagonist. But but so
Yeah.
I did not agree with that take.
Yeah, I also don't agree with that. I think you're right. I don't think that's a very productive like assessment. I think yes, we should be like questioning the symbolism that we use when making art and stuff, but also uh like I don't know. I think that also argues a lot of questions of like what would you have preferred that to look like, I suppose, and and things, and how would that have affected
Right,
the
isn't
movie?
isn't the final like end conclusion of that argument would be that that role just can't be played by a person of color, which then that sounds kind of racist to me. That you're like, that only a white person could play that role. Like that, like now you're just limiting what people can do.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like if you're
right.
gonna view it that way. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah, I mean, I think that people also, it's worth noting that people will always have, I think people will always have takes that are motivated by like something that they see as, a potential injustice. And I think it's also good for us, like, I think we should be on the lookout for injustices in how things are portrayed in art, um, and how that can negatively affect all sorts of things, including like racial stereotypes and everything like that. But also, like, I don't know. I also think that there is this ability on the internet to just project really any take that you want to, and um
yeah.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
think that can lead to non-productive conversations too.
Yeah, and sometimes if all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And it's
Yeah,
like
right.
and really like the role is a great role. And Chiwetel Ejiofor is fantastic. Like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's like you shouldn't be limited from not playing that because they would look bad to some people or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's a great role. He's a great actor. That's kind of what it is, you know? So
Yeah.
anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I think that, I mean,
I don't know
also
why I
I
brought
think,
it up. You didn't mention the take. It was just something I saw on the
yeah,
internet and I was like,
I get it.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, I get bringing that up. And also I will say I think that like I think those takes are tough on the internet because you don't want to be the person to argue with that. Like, right? Like that take is almost
I just did.
manipulative in a way where like, yeah, no, I think that's good.
I'll
But
do it.
I think that those
What's the
tapes of
I volunteer? What does she do in Hunger Games at this?
a
I volunteer.
volunteer is
I
tribute.
volunteer.
Yeah. But I think those can be almost not, again, I do think that it is good to evaluate and assess our symbolism in art, but I do think that in a way that it can be manipulative to just say, oh, this is racist, this is misogynist, this is whatever, homophobic, right? Whatever. Um, I think we shouldn't always assume the worst.
Right. Yeah. True. All right. Cool. I mean, I yeah. So I don't know the ending of the movie. What do they do?
Yeah.
Did they we don't know how the backrooms were created, who's in charge, what's in charge, how it works. We don't know any of this stuff. And I don't know that the movie would be better if we did know that stuff. But once we bring in those guys, now that's what I'm thinking about. And now
Mm,
I'm feeling unsatisfied. So that's why I feel like they took the middle and they kind of just drove on the median and they needed to stay in one lane or the other.
I can see what you're saying there for sure, but I almost feel like this could end up with kind of the Friday the 13th type of thing where like in all the next movie, like there's going to be, you know, three more of these or something, and they're all going to explain more and more and more. And, um, by the end, you end up with something that has already circled on and ate itself, right? Ouroboros style, and now makes no
Like
sense again.
almost like Saw with
Yeah,
the
yeah, that might be a better
convoluted
analogy, right?
yeah, the
Um,
convoluted lore of Saw. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I really hope that when that because I'm going to say right now that's going to happen, and when I think when that happens, I hope that this first one is still looked on as well as it is right now because I think that that can sometimes sour people's opinions of a whole franchise, right? And I'm like projecting like 10
What?
years in the
Who
future or
knows?
something. Who the fuck knows? The
Yeah.
literally the world could end tomorrow and none of this.
All right. Jeez, man.
I can fall into the back rooms and never come out. So.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, don't bring me in if you go to the back rooms.
Shane, Shane, I'm gonna stay here.
All right. You stay there alone. I will not come get you. I'm not,
Backrooms version of me will start recording the podcast
I,
with me. I'm gonna
yeah, you
swap
have like
places with
five
Backrooms me.
faces.
Yeah,
Yeah.
AI generated me.
Yeah. All
Um,
right, cool.
yeah,
I don't know if there's anything else to talk about backrooms.
I think there. I mean, I will. Just the last thing I'll
Well,
say is without reading too much, without projecting too much of my own things. There's so much to read into this movie about trauma and grief and abuse and manipulation and all this stuff that I like. I think there's so much depth here that I'm glad to see so much conversation online and reviews and um, literally like even like Instagram posts and stuff that dive into how liminal spaces are connected to uh, grief and trauma and stuff. And it's like, dude, that's crazy. I love it. Like, I'm so glad that people are able to explore all that so much. And I think people out there are doing it a lot better than I could. So I'll just let them do it and encourage people to one think critically and like you maybe go in or approach your thoughts on the movie with that type of lens if you haven't thought about that yet. Also, I think it's like right in some ways it's right there, but also, um, yeah, there's cool stuff to read out there about it. So
yeah, I don't know that I have a full like theory or interpretation of like all that stuff, but clearly it's all there. We're definitely at a point to me where it's like every horror movie is about grief and trauma. It's a
yeah,
little like I roll my eyes a little bit, but this that goes to show that this movie was so good that even though I may have rolled my eyes, I actually ended up caring about the characters and I appreciated the themes because it was well made. However, it is very it's a little overdone at this point, I think.
yeah, yeah, I can see that. I think the interesting thing here is that it's in such a unique way with the liminal spaces
Yeah.
as a way to represent kind of the endlessness and the many paths and yet still no good one or something. Right? I don't know. So,
Mm. Yeah, and
but
I
yeah,
think the character of I mean obviously Mary being like a therapist and there's all that stuff of her past with her abusive mother and all that, which we didn't really talk about. But yeah, and then but anyway, the characters are interesting and well written, so it definitely makes it so that people can go in their own directions with all that stuff.
yeah, exactly. I think that's the best thing about this movie and about a lot of great horror movies is, and I think this is why grief and trauma appear so much right now in the discussion about horror movies is really just because they appear so much so people think about them and that is kind of the critical lens that people assess them through, but you can read this movie I think in a lot of other different ways too, and I think that's uh, one thing about a good horror movie is that you should be able to read it in many ways, right?
Yeah.
Look at The Shining, right?
So I was gonna say, look, The Shining, Room 237, all those different interpretations.
Yeah, not
Don't
all those would be ones I would recommend assessing The Shining through. But yeah,
Well, yeah, but that's the whole point.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah. All right, cool. I'm glad Backrooms is doing well. People are liking it, and I would definitely be seated for Backrooms too.
yeah,
Or even like a back. I mean, I don't know that I would get into the internet stuff. That's a little too much for me. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'd watch a little bit. Maybe I'd watch a YouTube video and see where that goes. Because I am a little bit curious what's up with this company.
yeah,
I want to know
yeah.
that.
I mean, I don't know how long the Kane Parsons series is, but
I
maybe I'll check it out.
believe there's like 25 YouTube videos that he has made, and each one's probably around like 10 to 15-ish minutes, something like that. Yeah, I don't know that I would watch all of those, but maybe I would. But I do also the movie's set in 1990, which is a good time
Yeah,
with don't have to deal with cell phones. It's a little it fits the vibe of the Backrooms like image. Um, but I think a lot of the short films jump around in time and from the late 80s, the early 90s, and maybe some even further back than that.
yeah.
Um, Also, a lot of them are made in Blender, I believe, which is like a digital animation software. Um, is the first one that both of us have seen, is that made in Blender or no? I,
It is computer generated. I don't know about
I'm not
Blender
gonna lie,
necessarily, but yeah,
that is very impressive because I thought it was just
yeah,
real the from watching it. And I guess
yeah.
also it being the found footage with sort of a,
Right.
degraded, not clear image probably helps it. But yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, totally. I will say though, I was so glad that they took the route of obviously we already talked about taking the route of not doing as much found footage here, but also like
Live action.
live action and just really investing in the practical effects too. I mean,
Yeah.
really, really did a lot for this movie.
Yeah. Very creepy. The faces, the is strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
uh,
All right.
anyways, yeah.
So I guess that's that for Backrooms. Anything else you want to say?
Nah, next week we've got
We've got The Sixth Sense and Leon the Professional. I guess
the
Leon
Leon.
the
Oh,
Professionic Sense
sense. Leon the Professional Sense.
or the sixth Sion the Professional. I kind of
I
like
like
that.
I like them both. I like the first one maybe a little bit more. Leon
The
the fuck. Leon the
Leon the Professionic Sense.
yeah, it's
I
like the
or
number of professional.
sixth Sion the Professional. Sixth Sion. I will say the fact that we're gonna have to say sixth quite a lot is a little bit of a downside of the movie I've picked. It's a tough word to say. Sixth. Yes,
Yeah.
there you go. If I just
Yeah,
say
it's
it
got
quicker.
the yeah.
Sixth Sion the Professional. Say it real quick.
But if you do Leon the professional sense, you're ignoring the whole sixth thing.
Yeah, but then you're saying professionist
Yeah,
sense.
that's awesome.
All right, fine.
The
Let's do it.
number that is the professional.
All right. Well, come join us for
We're still
that.
recording. That's awesome.
Yeah, come join us for that episode next week. So yeah, and then what are we doing the week after? Oh, is it Disclosure Day?
Already. Isn't that
Wow.
crazy?
Yeah, Disclosure Day. That's awesome. So
Yeah.
yeah, stick around, hit the subscribe. If you're on YouTube, we'd appreciate a like and a comment. What'd you think? If you're on the podcast apps, you can give us 5 stars. We would very much appreciate it. But also just thank you for listening. If anyone has listened to all of this, we appreciate it. That's uh that's kind of crazy. But thanks for doing that. And yeah, we're on Letterboxd, Mind Your Movies, all one word. In the bio of our podcast account, we have both of our individual accounts linked, so you can check us out there, and you might get a little nuggets on what we're, what's coming up next. At least I do. I just log it when I watch it. But Ryan's a little more coy. Is a little like, oh, I'm gonna wait. So, but if so, really, you just gotta follow me. Don't follow Ryan, but just follow me because I got the little extra little tidbits early.
All
So anyway,
right. Well,
so anyway,
fuck this guy.
don't forget to mind your movies.